Hello again and welcome to BryzGarage. We are continuing to work on this 2003 Hyundai Sonata. This is a 2.7 liter V6. We are now changing out our high and low lines of our AC system. This is your high line. It goes from your compressor to your condenser. This is your low line. This goes from your compressor, curves around, goes all the way to your firewall, to your expansion valve. If you haven't seen any of the other videos, I would urge you to watch at least part 1. Okay, so before we remove all these hoses, one thing we want to do is just pull this up. You just simply pull it up from right here and just pull it to the side. It's just in the way. And that's all it does, is it slides in there. No bolts, no nothing. Just slide out of the way. This is your power steering reservoir. Just kind of push it to the side. That gives us a little bit of room to mess around with stuff. You need a small extension on this, on the high line, so you can get down there because it's further back. Whereas this low line, which is right there at the front, you can't use an extension. You just use your socket because you'll be pressing right into your fan shroud. Just really quick, here's a look at what your compressor looks like. Here's your high line. Here's your low line. Your high line sits further back and has a 10mm nut on it, and your low line is closer. It also has a 10mm nut on it. So now that we have our lines removed, which are right here, we're now going to remove this splash shield, just this little corner piece. This will help us pull down the lines. These are just 10mm, so remove that. Okay, next we're going to remove this high line that's right here. It just has one nut on it. It's a 12mm, so we'll just remove that. Okay, now that we got that removed, I just wanted to show you a couple things here. So we're just going to lift it up, pull it over to the side, just right there. Be gentle with that. You're going to see these little green gaskets right there. Those are going to have to be replaced. So if you're doing this and you're taking this off, no matter what, replace those. Get those replaced. You can buy a whole package for your whole AC system that's around $7. Another thing I do, just so you can remember when you're putting it all back together, try to leave, like, so I just screwed back on the nut there. That way you won't lose it and you can put it back easy. Alright, so to get to the low pressure line that's hooked to the expansion valve back there, we're going to want to remove this. It just makes it a lot easier. So there's 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, that are on this bracket. So remove those brackets so we can push that aside and get to our expansion valve to remove the lines. Okay, so these are 10mm bolts in here. Before we remove this bracket, just make sure you look at it before removal. This one you'll take off first, and it overlaps this one. So when you're putting it back together, this one will go on first, then this one overlaps afterwards. So just so you remember. Okay, so we removed the last bolt on this bracket that was sitting right here. It has a grounding strap connected to it. So when you're putting it back together, make sure you put that back on there before assembling it all. So now that we got all that off, we can loosen this, push that to the side, and we can access our expansion valve and our lines. So we're going to remove these lines. There's 3 bolts in here. These are Thanx. This is a Thanx 30. It's the star looking one. Do not use an Allen wrench because you'll strip it, but it's a T30 is what this is. And there's 3 of them. One right there, one on the other side, and then one deep in the middle that's hard to see. That's holding your expansion valve on. So you'll want to remove all 3 of these. Okay, so we have expansion valve off. As you can see, there's 2 gaskets that are on there. We're going to replace the gaskets. There's going to be 2 gaskets on the ends of these lines. We're going to be replacing those. Okay, so while we have our lines off, we're going to separate these 2 lines, the lower from the upper. The lower one just slides out of this plastic molding. Just remember there's gaskets on both of these. We're going to slide out this lower line first. And then we can replace low line and replace it. Okay, so I got these separated here. I just pulled it out as far as I could, and then I took a screwdriver, pried it in between the plastic piece and that bottom portion of the tubing. So I got that. Then there is a wire tie right there that was holding these 2 together. So I clipped that. And then they're connected right here. This little plastic piece right there. So we're going to separate those, and then we should be able to pull out the whole low line while keeping the other one there. So for right now, I'm going to detach these 2 lines from that bracket. How you liking that? That's my umbrella to keep whatever rain I can off me. Okay, so to separate these 2 lines, you just pull this one this way and pull the low line, or push that one forward, pull this line back, and that right there just slips out from that. So you're just pulling on one, pushing on the other, and it separates. So now we're going to pull the low line out. Like I said, we may need to take it up and through the hood port right there. I'll have to move that module to get that out. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get out because it's all aluminum and it doesn't flex very well, so that's what we'll do. Yes, thank you Lord. Got some sun coming out kinda, so there we go. Here's our old line. Got our old line out. Now we're gonna try to put this new line back in it. Son of a, as you can see, you have to flex it, bend it, whatever. You just don't want to, you want to be gentle around these connectors and this aluminum. You know, that's what went bad on mine, is actually right around there. That's where it went bad. What I do to replace this line is I start from back here, from the back near the firewall, and I push it down this way because it's kind of lengthy and it's difficult to get in. Sometimes you have to take it through here, through the hood opening. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get through, but you just basically snake it under your motor mount there, and connect it all back. So we'll be doing that. Okay, so putting this little tube right here into this plastic piece, that was a little bugger. So just took these pliers, just kind of squished it in. It didn't take a lot of pressure to do that, but I don't know why. It's just really hard to do with your hand and stuff, trying to squish it in there. But anyway, so that's on. Now we're going to hook back the expansion valve. We'll put on the wire tie here. We'll put on this piece, and I just barely attached that just a second ago. And then we'll attach our line to our compressor. So that's where we are. Expansion valve next. Okay, so as far as our expansion valve goes, you can't really mess up. Large hole, small hole. Back here you got the same size, so it just goes like that. And then if you look on our high and low lines there, you know, this one's bigger, bottom one's smaller, so it just goes on like that. So we're going to put this on and then put on our bracket and then bolt it down. Remember, the smaller The smaller of the bolts goes into the middle, and then the two longer ones go on each side of it. Okay, so expansion valve is in. Got all three bolts nice and tight. Remember, it's the Thanx 30. Don't use an Allen wrench. Go spend the money, grab you a cheap set of Thanx, just because of you know, it'll just strip your bolts. I got these just at Harbor Freight. I don't remember how much they were. They weren't that much, but they came in handy a lot. So if you're gonna work on vehicles, you might use them again. Just so you know, the compressor inlet outlet, the high-low on the compressor itself, they have a Thanx, so might use them for that. But anyway, so now that we got that all secure, we got that. I put the bolt back there, mounted to the frame right there. Now, next we're gonna put this back. However it goes, like that. So we're gonna put all those bolts in. Remember that this one has this grounding wire in the front. So we're gonna put that on. Then we're gonna put that other wire with the bracket on like so afterwards. But right now we're gonna mount those brackets back on. Okay, so now that we have our lines on our expansion valve and the line comes down here, this is our low. We're gonna attach this to the compressor. We're gonna start with the low, and then as you can see, I have the high side off right now, but I'm gonna put that on just after I do this low, so it'll be a little bit easier to get my hands in there. So we're just gonna attach it again. Make sure your new line has a new gasket on it. So that's where we are. Now that we got everything all basically hooked up, we got our lines hooked up to the compressor. Then we have the lines hooked up to the condenser. So up here, this line's here. So the dryer, that took a little time finagling. You have to bend it just right to get it to do that. Again, use this part of the wrench, your close end, and you just kind of bend it, flex it. You don't want to flex it too hard, just nice and gently. Just go slow and just bend it, kind of like a gas line, a fuel line, if you will. Next, we're going to put our belt on. Okay, so now with our belt on, next thing is just a few cleanup items. Just make sure you put this back where it belongs. Remember, it just kind of drops on in there, like so. And then down below, still have that mini splash shield down there to put back on. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this. If this video worked for you, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching BryzGarage.